5 years ago, this ad would have cost 6 figures to make. A studio, a creative director, models, locations, wardrobe, scoring, color grading, a 6-month timeline, and a team of 40 plus people. In 2026, I made it in 2 weeks, alone, after my kids fell asleep. It's an ad for a luxury designer watch. And here's the best part. The watch isn't real. The man isn't real. The Riverwalk meeting between him and the woman wasn't even filmed. It was rendered. But the work is real, and what I learned making it changed how I think about creative work. Right now, AI-generated brand content is everywhere. Synthetic models, AI-generated covers, campaigns that try to pass as live action and get caught. Most of it isn't even very good. Some of it is starting to be. I made something that looks like a real luxury brand on purpose, with my own taste, with my own decisions about what counts as luxury and what doesn't. The brand is called Elliot Louis Design. Elliot Louis is my actual first and middle name. I've wanted to build a designer brand under that name for as long as I can remember. I bought ElliotLouis.com years ago and let it sit. I figured one day I'd build something there. What if AI was that someday? That's the project. Now let me show you how it actually works. 2 weeks of nights and weekends. It started with the brand identity, ELD monogram, wordmark designed in Canva, the tagline, luxury reimagined. All of that was locked before I touched a single AI tool. Because if you don't have the brand, you don't have anything to render. Then the ad. I wrote a 30-second narrative, a man and a woman meeting on the Chicago Riverwalk. He's wearing the watch. They walk towards each other. They dance. Then I storyboarded it, shot by shot. The man checking the watch, the walk, the dance, the wide drone shot to close out the ad. 8 beats, each one mapped to a specific frame I needed before I touched a single AI tool. Because if you don't know what you're prompting for, you'll prompt for hours and end up with nothing. Then I started generating each sequence. Each AI tool gives you one shot at a time, 5 to 10 seconds, one camera angle, one moment. To build a 30-second ad, I needed 8 finished shots. To get those 8, I generated 40 attempts. Wrong faces, inaccurate anatomy, wardrobe malfunctions, inputs blocked by the platform's moderation. The rest I had to edit together. Then it got interesting. I picked a face for the man, identity adjacent to a real famous person. I'm not going to say who. The point isn't who. The point is what happened next. 3 different AI tools refused to render him. Veo, Kling, Seedance, the 3 tools I'd planned to use. Their moderation systems flagged the resemblance and shut down the request. Late on a Friday afternoon, I spent 90 minutes convinced the problem was something else. The crowd in the background, the lighting, the camera angle. None of it was the real problem. The real problem was the face. And I didn't figure that out until I tried a 4th tool, Happy Horse 1.0, that fal.ai happened to ship that same week. It rendered the shot in 2 minutes. Go with the type of persona, lose the specific person. That's a lesson I'm carrying into every project from now on. The score took a different kind of hunting. I knew I wanted Latin swing, big band, slow dance ballad energy. Suno gave me track after track across 7 genre searches before I found one that actually fit. I burned an entire evening on this. My wife asked me what I was doing. I said picking music. She asked why I was taking so long. I said because most of it isn't right. The final edit happened on a Saturday night with DaVinci Resolve, after bedtime, in between late night feedings. The final cut came together close to midnight. I went to bed without watching it again. I looked at it fresh Sunday morning, and that's the version that shipped. Now, zoom out 5 years ago. This ad doesn't get made. Not by me, not by anyone like me. The work itself wasn't the gate. The infrastructure was the gate. Brands existed because companies existed. Companies existed because capital existed. If you weren't on the inside, the door was closed. The agency, the studio, the network. You could be the most talented art director on earth and spend a decade pitching something from the outside before anyone let you make something. That's gone now. Not going, gone. The studio is software. The director of photography is a model called Veo. The composer is Suno. The casting is a prompt. The coloring is software you can run on a laptop after the kids go to bed. What used to take a team of 40 and a 6-month timeline now takes one person, 2 weeks, and an internet connection. The infrastructure that gatekept creative work has collapsed. So what's left? 2 things. First of all, knowledge of the tools. New AI tools ship every week. Some are better than what came before. Some aren't. The only way to know is to use them. The people making interesting work right now are the people putting in the hours, not studying, rolling up their sleeves and using the tools. Secondly, the part no one wants to talk about, taste. Anyone can prompt a model. 500 million people can prompt a model. What separates a luxury brand campaign from a slop reel isn't the tool, it's the eye behind it. The decision about what counts as luxury, the decision about what counts as boring, the decision to throw out 12 good shots to keep the one that's right. Taste used to be developed inside the institutions that gatekept the work. You'd assist a photographer for 5 years. You'd write copy at an ad agency for a decade. The taste came from being around it. Now the taste has to come from somewhere else. Your own consumption, your own attention. The hours you spend looking at things and asking yourself, what makes them good? The bottleneck moved. It used to be access. Now it's attention. The part I keep coming back to is this. For a long time, the people who imagined brands into existence were the people on the inside. The people in the agency, the people with the budget, the people who got the meeting. That's over. If you can imagine it, you can render it. The only thing standing between your imagination and the work is the time you put into learning the tools and the attention you put into developing your taste. I built a luxury brand in 2 weeks of stolen hours, with a full-time job, 2 kids under 2, and a wife I'd like to see occasionally. If I can do that, you can do whatever you've been telling yourself you can't. What would you make if you stopped waiting for permission? If you got something out of this, subscribe. New video every week. And if you want the long version of this thinking, I write a weekly newsletter called Elliot's Keynotes. Links in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next week.